Last time on the Skip and Josh podcast.
I'm happy for Ovechkin because he hasn't never reached this point in his career, so I am happy for him. I don't think the Capitals are going to win, so
You don't think the Capitals are going to win?
No chance.
No chance.
No chance. I mean, look, you know how I said at the beginning of the playoffs that Nashville was a team of destiny and they were on a mission? I was wrong, but it turns out that team is Vegas.
You're listening to the Skip and Josh podcast with Skip Sherman and Josh Obadia.
Hello?
Hey, Skippy.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Where are you today?
I'm in Chicago.
This is an international show. It's not just Canadian now. You're in the States. Are you even allowed to record while you're out of Canada? Is that like, do we have to pay tariffs or something now?
Well, are you trying to get into current events or?
No, I'm just like, I wonder, we might be breaking some sort of federal law or something. I don't know.
Well, just in the last 2 days, the United States and Canada started some kind of trade war. So I don't think podcasts were affected though.
And if anyone asks, we'll just say you were in Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
How are they going to know?
Well, because I just said I'm in Chicago. Okay. But Chicago's actually the place that I've been to the most of all the cities that I travel to. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess New York lately because I go so many times a year. But it's so great, Chicago. I just love it here. It's so awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah,
it is good.
Such a beautiful city,
and they have two baseball teams, so there's opportunity for games all the time.
Yeah, I was mentioning to you offline that there was a game. There's a game tonight and yesterday against the Mets, but I didn't have time to go with my work schedule. But I could have went to see a Chicago Fire MLS game last night, but I also passed on that. So where do you want to start? Anything important or
anything
on your mind?
Yes. I made my usual list of things.
Mm-hmm. I have a strong list. I told you I have a strong list today.
Mine isn't that strong, but I made a second list.
Oh.
Now, the second list has only one item on it.
Okay.
And the title of the second list is Things We Will Not Talk About.
Oh, I have on my list something that we're never going to ever talk about. Is it the same thing?
I don't know. I'll tell you what mine is.
Okay.
We are not going to talk about who's the best NBA player of all time.
Oh my God. I can't. I swear. Look, people are going to think this is rehearsed. You guys are bullshitting us. Whatever. I swear to God, I have on my list no LeBron versus Jordan.
No. I don't even want to say their names. I don't even want to say. We've already said too much now.
Oh, okay. So I just don't ever want to talk about
whoever you think is the best, I'm good with it. We're fine. Done. Yeah. End of conversation. I don't want to discuss it.
The whole thing we don't want to discuss it. I was going to get into how come we have to talk about this in other sports they don't ever do this, but anyways, we're not even going to talk about it. But do you want to talk a little bit about the NBA finals since we started with basketball?
Yeah, let's do that.
The National Basketball Association.
Okay. So, game 2 is tonight. I'm going to try to watch for sure. Although, leading up to this, I really wasn't that interested in watching at all. I didn't think it was going to even be entertaining. But game 1 was entertaining for, few weird reasons.
I unfortunately missed all of game 1.
Okay. But, you've seen the highlights.
I saw the highlights and I read all the stories. And did you hear what J.R. Smith said today?
He said something he sort of changed his mind and he might have not known the score.
No, he said he didn't know the score. Today, that's what he said.
The whole world has known that since the first day because they slowed down and they showed you the instant replay and you clearly see him saying to LeBron, I thought we were up. Mm-hmm. That's exactly the words he says. I thought we were up. And then, of course, they go and sit down on the bench, and LeBron gives him, the death stare. Honestly, I thought LeBron was going to kill him right there on the bench. He didn't even want to look in his direction.
I don't blame him, because you work that hard, and you have the opportunity to win the game in regulation time when no one's giving you a chance of winning the series, and you could have stolen one in Golden State, and And you go and do that. If I'm LeBron, I'm like, I would want to cut that guy like before they even get to the locker room.
I have to give LeBron a lot of credit because like they asked him about it in the press conference you saw, and he just walked out on it.
I did.
Like, what is he gonna do? What is he supposed to say? Yeah, my team sucks.
Yeah.
Like, what is he supposed to say? You know.
Speaking of LeBron, did you see his suit with the shorts?
Yeah, that's kind of weird. No.
Is that a style now?
Well, look, these NBA players think they're trendsetters, so like it might become a style.
I don't think I could pull that off at work.
I know I couldn't. The thing that I wanted to ask you is like, so LeBron had like 50 points, 51 points the first game, and like I don't know how many rebounds and assists, whatever. Like, what number of points does LeBron have to get for the Cavs to win a game? Is it like 70, 80, 100?
No, it's 50. It's 51 or 52. Like they could have won that game, and he had 51 points.
Yeah.
So that's what it is.
Well, look, it's a little the NBA playoffs is like it's exciting for a variety of reasons. Like
Kevin Love actually had 21 points also, I think, that game.
Yeah, no, they had contributions, you know, like, but yeah, I mean, clearly Golden State is like a stacked team, you know, so it's just hard to stop them because at one point Steph Curry could just pull up from anywhere and hit a shot, right? There's no like defense on him.
Although in the previous round he was missing shots.
Yeah, no, they're going to miss shots. I mean, when you're shooting threes, you're going to miss. Like, you don't hit 60% of your threes, you know? You hit 40%, whatever. So, for a series that's probably going to be like a 4-game sweep, it still should be fairly exciting.
I don't think it's going to be a 4-game sweep. You
don't?
I think Cleveland's going to win at least one game.
I don't know. I think that was the game 1, and now it's over. Like, they threw in the towel, LeBron included, after the J.R. Smith business, because in the overtime, it's like they weren't even there.
But they'll win one game in Cleveland.
I will see. I mean, I hope they're able to make it interesting, but I don't have a lot of faith in their team, to be honest, you know? Yeah. So that's basketball, I guess, right?
Yeah. By the way, speaking of basketball, any news on credentials for the Duke game?
No.
Okay.
You should text Derek. He may.
The reason I bring it up is because I sent you the link, and so it's official now.
Yeah.
And the schedule is out, so we know the dates and the times and the locations of the games.
Well, I'm glad you brought up Duke because I had something on my list that I wanted to mention.
And by the way, I don't think I'll be able to join you for the game in Montreal anyway.
Well, there you go. So I'm going to go solo with my press credentials.
Right. I'm going to go hopefully to the 2 games here.
So in the category of listener mail,
mailbag,
we got a comment on Facebook from a listener in Boston, Jeffrey Bornstein.
Oh, look at that.
And he was asking us how come we weren't covering, he knows we're Dukies, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
He was asking how come we weren't covering Duke's appearance in the finals of the NCAA lacrosse championship.
Well, it's because we don't know anything about lacrosse.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I looked it up just now, and they lost to Yale in the championship game.
It was the Duke lacrosse team that got like suspended a few years ago. Allegedly, they did something to a female student, and then it was found out not to be true or something.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm not telling the whole story, obviously, but
no. Yeah. So that's listener mail. I thought it was interesting because it's Duke related.
Okay, I like listener mail.
But I mean, we are Dukies, but I guess just for men's basketball.
Right.
So now, on to the big topic.
What's that one?
The National Hockey League.
The Stanley Cup Finals.
Okay.
How are you feeling about your declaration last episode that the Capitals had no chance of winning?
I'm not feeling that good, actually. I'm stunned. No. I'm stunned that the Capitals have won 2 games in this series. I figured they'd win 1, but I'm stunned that they've won 2.
Is it because you still think they have this choking dog reputation?
No, it has nothing to do with them and everything to do with Vegas. Vegas has rolled through the playoffs. They lost a total of 3 games, and they've played very good teams. And you would think, at least I did, that the Capitals were going to be, whatever, a formality. We're going to win the series. Maybe Washington will win 1 game, whatever. The fact that they've won 2 games, I'm not happy about it. I'm very surprised. But if Vegas wins the next game, it's tied 2-2 going back to Vegas.
Yeah, no, I get
so
that.
the next game's obviously huge.
Well, yeah.
And that, by the way, that save that Braden Holtby made, insane.
That's insane.
But I mean, if you're on the ice and you're an NHL player, do you not just lift the puck into the net? I don't understand.
It's easier said than done because you're doing everything at top speed, right? Yeah, I know.
I mean, if he just lifts it a little bit, it's a goal.
Yeah. But like, can you think of like saves, like a save like that in like the finals? You know, like
I can't.
There's great saves, and we've seen saves sort of like that, the same style, you know, where the goalie's down and out and, you know, dives across and all this, but like not in like such an important situation, you know? It's really pretty amazing, actually.
You know, I want to go back to something you said a few weeks ago, how in the NHL playoffs, it could be a bounce here, a penalty there, a lucky break.
It's a lot of luck involved.
Yes. So what I want to say is, yes, they give the Stanley Cup trophy to the team that wins 4 series in the playoffs. However, I think, and they're never going to do this, but you know what you were explaining to me in soccer in Europe, they don't even have playoffs.
Right.
They just, whoever wins the regular season is the champion.
Is the winner. Yeah.
And I think if you're going to talk about who the best team is in a given year, I think the team that has the best record at the end of the regular season is the best team, not so much the team that wins the Stanley Cup.
Well, I mean, it's like I don't want to say it's a sprint and a marathon because the playoffs are far from a sprint, but like the regular season is a marathon, and the playoffs is mostly about who can stay healthy. You know, honestly,
and,
like
and
most
who's
of the
hot
time,
at
it's
the
like who's less banged up, which goalie might get hot. You know, that's usually how it goes, and the goals are so hard to come by that, like you said, sometimes a lucky bounce here and there is going to make the whole difference.
Although game 1 there were a ton of goals.
Yeah, I feel like game 1.
Well, they had a long layoff.
The Knights had a bit of a layoff, and at the same time, the Caps had sort of this hangover effect, you know, emotionally, like starting a new series. You know, maybe they weren't as hyped up as they could be. But like what I think about why the Caps are going to win, I feel like up until now, the Knights have felt no pressure. I don't think anybody on the Vegas Golden Knights felt any pressure on them to win. And now I think getting to the Stanley Cup Finals, I think they're finally feeling it. You know?
Well, so, I agree with your first comment. I don't know if they're feeling the pressure now, because why would they all of a sudden start feeling that?
Well, look at the pregame ceremony. Like they realize the situation they're in. Right?
I think
who do
they
you like
do
better?
that. I think they do a ceremony like that at every game, though.
Not like what they have in Vegas.
No. But Vegas does a ceremony like that at every home game.
Oh no, yeah, but they pull out all the stops here by getting like Imagine Dragons or like real art, you know, like something big, you know? Yeah. But Vegas does have some kind of crazy in-arena experience from what I've been told all year long. You know, I remember when the Canadians had their road trip and they went down to Vegas, in the Montreal media, all they were talking about is like, wow, the in-arena experience is like second to none, you know? So
good for them.
Do you feel like Tom Wilson should have got suspended again, or?
Okay, well, speaking of Tom
Not
Wilson,
game 3, we're going back to game 2 now.
You're talking about the hit on Marchessault.
No, there was a hit. Yeah, the hit on Marchessault. Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
I think that, yes, he should have been suspended.
It was so dirty. It was ridiculous.
But you know who else is dirty on the Washington Capitals? Like, it's not bad enough they have him. They also have Brooks Orpik.
Well, Brooks is Brooks. He plays one way, you know. He can't do anything else. But
the two of them, I can't stand either player.
But Orpik is not a headhunter in the same way that Wilson is.
Well, okay, maybe not, but I don't know if you saw, remember that great save that Holtby made that we just talked about?
Yeah.
The player who shot it, his name's Tooch.
Oh, yeah, he got destroyed after.
He got totally cross-checked by Brooks Orpik.
Yeah, but there's cross-checking. But there's cross-checking in front of the net on every play. Like, that happens.
But the play was over.
I know.
You know, I can understand if he had scored and Orpik was pissed, maybe, but it's still bad. But he didn't even score, and he gets cross-checked, and there's no call.
It's so true. Now, the thing about, like, when I go back to the hit on Marchessault,
yes,
it was a much worse hit than the one that he got suspended for, I think.
I don't think he hit Marchessault's head, so I don't know if it was as bad.
Yes, the difference is there was exactly the hit to the head, but this one was far more intentional.
Well, this one, Marchessault didn't have the puck.
That's what I mean. It was so like, he just literally said, I'm going to go destroy the best player on the other team, and that's what he did, which is disgusting.
And is there not a rule that, like, I mean, you can't take, like, 8, 10, 12 strides?
There is.
And it seems like he skated from one end of the ice to the other before he hit him.
But they gave him a penalty for interference, which is ridiculous. He should have got, like...
Charging.
I know. He should have got, like, a 5-minute or... And unfortunately, like, you know how it goes in the NHL. If you don't really get injured, then you don't get suspended. Marchessault said, yeah, I feel fine. And so, okay, so Wilson won't get suspended. That's the sad part about it,
That is the sad part about it. I agree.
I mean, I didn't see any of the game yesterday. I was just following it on my phone, and I was happy that Kuznetsov was actually able to play and score, so that was great. And I mean, I hope the Caps can pull it off.
Is your son winning his hockey pool? He must be.
Oh, by a mile. By a mile. He has, first of all, he has Fleury and Marchessault.
Okay.
And he has
all the
Ovechkin.
Caps.
He has Ovechkin, Orlov, and Kuznetsov. So like he's like the only guy in his pool that has like many players left, and he has on both teams, including a goalie, right? Which the goalie gets points just for playing, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I thought of something when we were comparing Vegas to the Mama's Boys. There's another similarity that we didn't mention.
Yeah, which is?
Well, they have Marc-Andre Fleury, and the Mama's Boys had Costa. And that makes a huge difference.
You mean like the pitcher or the goalie?
Right.
Yeah, like the veteran guy who knows what he's doing.
If we didn't have Costa, we would have been toast.
For sure, 100%. Costa, if you're listening, we would have been toast without you.
Yeah.
He knows. It's not a secret.
No, it's not.
No, because the team that we beat 2 years later recruited Costa to be on their team.
Yeah, the Yankees snapped him up.
Exactly. It's like Kevin Durant going to the Warriors.
Right, exactly.
Costa's not going to be happy with that.
I don't think he's going to care.
So what else you got? I'm done. No, I have just odds and ends.
I have odds and ends, but we need to go back to basketball.
Oh, back to basketball. Let's do it.
Am I the only one that doesn't have a problem with Brian Colangelo's tweets?
Oh, you want to talk about that?
I don't see what the big deal is.
Well, I mean, apparently there was fake accounts, right?
Right. So let's say I tweeted those exact things. No one knows who I am.
Yeah.
I'm just some schlub.
Yeah.
No one would care if I tweeted those things, right?
But the things that he tweeted was things that only like 3 people knew.
I thought it was mostly just his opinion about certain players. And if it's your opinion, you're entitled to your opinion.
But there was stuff in there about like Markelle Fultz's shoulder and like how they should. There was like some kind of personal stuff about Embiid and Fultz that like seemed like, well, you're right. Yeah, of course you're entitled to your opinion. But imagine you're a player and you find out that your GM is tweeting all kinds of crap about you.
No, I'm not saying it's a nice thing to do, but it's not illegal. And I don't even think it's immoral. Like, he's just giving his opinion. Like, I don't know why he would want to give a negative opinion on any of his players, because then if he tries to trade them later, no one's going to want to make a trade. So he's just shooting himself in the foot. But I don't see why he needs to lose his job.
I'll tell you why he needs to lose his job, and it's not necessarily that he has to. Yes, it's not illegal. Yes, it's not immoral. But it's completely insane.
It's not smart. I agree.
No, not that it's not smart. It's like it's mentally crazy. Like it's like why would you ever need to do this? Like what's the rationale about having these accounts and talking trash about your guys? Like what's he getting out of it? Is he getting kicks out of it, or like I don't know what his end game is?
Right, because there's no advantage to him doing this.
But they didn't say for sure that it's him. I've heard that maybe it's like his wife or someone in his family. I
heard that as well. But apparently, even if it's his wife or someone in his family, they're going to fire him anyway.
Yeah, well, whatever. I mean, I know the Toronto media is really picking up on it because Colangelo, all of a sudden in the Toronto media, there's stories this week about how Colangelo, everyone has a story about Colangelo now that they never told before, right?
Yeah, well, because he worked here for a bunch of years.
Yeah. I think it was overblown as a story, and I couldn't really care that much about it.
Okay.
I mean, I read it. the most interesting part for me was that it was the first kind of investigative story that was broken by the Ringer website.
I heard that.
So I thought that was cool because like I'm a huge Ringer fan of mostly everything they do. So I thought that was cool. But other than that, it didn't really didn't care that much, to be honest. I just take it or leave it.
Okay, so you mentioned the Ringer. I'm going to change subject a little bit. Still basketball. Before the finals started, there was a guy from Sportsnet. I don't know which one of the guys from Sportsnet. They're all the same to me. And they were on the court. It was the day before the finals, and the teams had just finished practicing or something. I don't know what. And they were doing an on-court interview, previewing the finals like they do all the time.
Yeah.
Except instead of having, their usual basketball analyst, whoever it is, or he is, or she is, they were interviewing Bill Simmons.
Oh, yeah.
I just thought it was so strange because, first of all, they were both standing up. They weren't sitting at a desk or anything. Bill Simmons was just wearing regular clothes. Like
He always does.
He was he looked like he was a fan. He didn't even look like he was there working.
Yeah.
And they asked him, I guess the first question they asked him was, do the Cavs have a chance to win a game or something? And his answer was like, no. like as if you and I were talking, like almost as if he didn't realize he was being interviewed on television. It was just so weird.
Well, I mean,
is he now a basketball expert?
He is a basketball expert.
I see.
You don't think he is, but he literally wrote a book called The Book of Basketball.
I've heard of the book. Yes, I knew that.
Yeah. So when you listen to his podcast, of course he's just a huge fan and he loves the Celtics. He loves all the Boston teams, and that's his angle, much like ours, that he's more of a fan than a journalist, but he's extremely knowledgeable about basketball. Sometimes I'm like, I can't even believe the things that he comes up with. And I'm like, oh yeah, he can rattle off the starters from practically every team, starting from the 80s till now, and tell you which player was where and who played who. And he's pretty knowledgeable. It's pretty amazing.
Okay. It was just a weird interview.
Yeah.
And speaking of interviews, I'm going off on tangents now. I've always said this, that I don't like when, between periods or after a game, they interview a player and on the ice or on the field, depending what sport it is.
I hate that interview that they do in between periods for hockey when they take a guy just next to the dressing room. It's so stupid.
Yes. So the other day, I think it was after the Capitals' first win that they had, Ovechkin had a really good game. I'm watching on CBC, and Scott Oak, I think, pulls him aside and says to Ovechkin, so what was the key to the win tonight? And I don't know if Ovechkin couldn't hear him or didn't understand him because, of course, it was loud and whatever. So he's he asks him to repeat the question. And he repeats the question, and then Ovechkin heard him the second time.
Yeah.
But, you can see Ovechkin, he's speechless because I honestly think he didn't know what to say, right? What am I going to say to that? What was the key to the win? We scored more goals than they did. What a stupid question. Why are you asking me that? But he didn't say, he wasn't rude. He didn't do any of that. He just tried to come up with some, and English isn't his first language either, whatever. But he came up with an answer so he wouldn't look bad. But it's a dumb question. Don't ask these questions. Don't interview these players after the game.
I saw what Ovechkin said. He basically said, yeah, we played well. We're trying hard. He just said the standard cliches just to get something out there, even though it wasn't
to get it over
exactly answering the question.
Yeah.
But then they did ask him, not in that interview, I saw it in print. What do you think about Holtby's save? And he said, I'm glad he's on our team.
Yeah, I saw that too. But what are you going to say? It was an insane save. Even if you're on the opposite team, you're going to say it was an insane save.
That's right.
So, it's just end these between period and between quarter interviews. Just end them.
Right. Just end them.
Yeah.
Can I have 4 or 5 random things that don't have anything to do with each other?
So do I, but go ahead, please.
Me?
Yeah, go first. Go.
I know we have a segment that you like to do called uniforms.
Uniforms.
Yes.
Now, this isn't exactly uniforms, but are you following what's going on in the French Open with Serena Williams?
She was wearing pants.
Not even pants. It was they're calling it a cat suit. so she's completely covered, but it's like long pants and sleeves and everything. Did you? So the thing is, like, they interviewed some of the other players on the tour, and they're like, I love what Serena's wearing. I think she looks great. I think it's awesome. It's stylish. Only she could pull that off. But other players said all that, but when I wanted to wear long pants because it was cold out, they told me I couldn't. And when I wanted to wear leggings that were below the knee, they told me I couldn't. So there's all this dress code on the WTA and specifically the French Open. And Serena Williams basically didn't ask anybody, or maybe she did, I don't know, and just showed up with whatever she wanted to wear, and no one said anything about it, and she was allowed to do whatever she wants.
There's two sets of rules. There's the rules for everyone, and then there's the rules for the superstars.
Right, because if Serena Williams wants to wear that, she's going to tell the French Open, "Look, I'm wearing this, or I'm not playing." And then they know they're gonna lose a lot of money if she's not playing.
You know what? She wouldn't be allowed to wear that at Wimbledon. I'll tell you right now.
Well, Wimbledon's another story. They're quite strict.
Yes, they are.
But I don't know what she's gonna wear. It should be interesting. So, I mean, I bet you she already has a plan about what she's gonna wear. So
I'm sure, because that's more important than the actual tennis playing sometimes.
Look, I have tons of respect for Serena Williams. She's probably the greatest female athlete, in our lives for sure. And all the power to her. So that's the segment on uniforms.
Okay, I'm glad we got that in.
Second thing is, as you know, I'm in Chicago.
Uh-huh.
And when I'm in the United States, I love to watch ESPN to see what they're talking about on ESPN.
I'm jealous.
No, TSN is better, just as good, But they did show some CFL highlights the other night. Why do you think they did that? Because Johnny Manziel made his preseason debut for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. I just thought it was so funny to watch ESPN here and see them showing CFL.
I think every time he plays, they're going to show something.
They actually didn't show highlights of the game. They only showed everything that he did.
Of course. Well, they don't care about the rest of the game.
They showed every snap, practically every snap and every throw he made, and there was this mad scramble.
And every NFL coach and every NFL GM and every NFL scout is going to figure out a way to watch CFL games now.
Yeah, that's true. That's so true.
I think CFL games are on ESPN3.
Well, you used to tell me that but ESPN3 is only available on the computer, right?
Correct.
It's like an online type of
correct.
service.
Yes, exactly.
Right. Okay.
And there was one year where CFL games were on, I think, on the NFL Network.
Really?
Yeah. Not all of them.
That's interesting.
Not every single one. Just like one per week or something.
I subscribe to the NFL Network, and it's amazing that they have content to fill the entire offseason.
No, but if you were in Canada and you put on the NFL Network, you could not see the CFL game.
Okay.
It was blacked out in Canada.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah, they have to because they have broadcast partners
right.
Canadian partners. So my other odds and ends are, I wanted to mention the finale of The Americans.
No. See, I can't even listen to Tony Kornheiser's show anymore because they talk about it every episode. This is terrible. I need to get the whole season and lock myself in a room and not talk to anyone for whatever long it takes.
When I get back home, I'll send you the whole season.
Thank you.
I'll upload it for you. Speaking of podcasts, have you listened to my recommendation of Top 4?
I did. I listened to that episode about the 90s music. It was great.
It was so good, right?
First of all, I think I like the honorable mentions more than the actual Top 4.
Well, his number one, I didn't care for it. I liked a lot more of the honorable mentions too. But I just liked how they played a little bit of the clips and how much they liked it. And it's kind of our era, that's...
I'm glad you brought this up. I have a very important question to ask you. As I was listening to the episode, if you actually look at your phone while you're listening, the picture on the phone changes to the album cover when they're talking about that album. How do they do that?
It's because he's the creator of the Overcast app. So
okay, but
he knows exactly how to do it. There's stuff that he did that I really don't understand how he did it. Maybe there's other podcast experts out there that can explain it. The way he has it's in chapters, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that I'd like to try to figure out how he did it. Maybe one day I will. I just need to sit down and really look at it. But yeah, he did some crazy stuff.
Anyway, yeah, so it was a very good episode. I liked a lot of the honorable mentions they mentioned. It was exactly like the music that I liked in the 90s.
Yeah, yeah. You should listen to some of the others, like the best pizza toppings and the best bagels.
Oh, they can't do. They're not from
No, I
Montreal,
know.
so they can't do best bagels. They're not shouldn't be allowed to talk about that.
Yeah, they're talking about American bagels. It's completely useless. But like those episodes are good. They go to Starbucks. They do an episode inside Starbucks. It's very cute. I enjoy it. I like their relationship, like the way they talk to each other and everything. So.
But they didn't know who sang "We Didn't Start the Fire."
You texted me and you're like, how could they not know who sang "We Didn't Start the Fire"? And they were getting it mixed up with another song. I was like, what? Are you
that
kidding
REM
me?
song?
Yeah, it's The End of the World as We Know It, which is a totally different song.
Completely different.
Like one has nothing to do with the other.
Exactly.
Other than that they sing fairly fast in both of them.
Yes.
Yeah. So my last little tidbit is we're episode 98.
Uh-oh.
Soccer.
Do you know the World Cup is starting soon?
Of course I know the World Cup is starting, and that was one of my things on my list. Have you seen, I mean, of course you've seen the commercials for the World Cup if you watch TSN.
Oh, it never stops.
Never stop. But not only that, there's one with this really bad electronic music. It's so annoying. I have to change the channel or mute it every time it comes on. It's terrible.
I don't understand how like, you know, TSN, they're like Canadian broadcaster. How come they have to put on this like Euro trash commercials when it's the World Cup?
It's so bad, those commercials. It's almost making me not want to watch. So
will you watch the World Cup?
I mean, I'm not going to go out of my way and like rearrange my schedule to watch.
I did.
But I mean, if I'm home and there's a game on, I'll watch it.
Okay.
Because by that point, the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs will be done.
Yeah. Well, it's starting soon. It's starting in like 10 days.
I think the 14th of June.
Yeah.
So the NHL and NBA will be done.
Mm-hmm.
So other than baseball, that's all there is to watch.
I'd like to do like a whole episode on the World Cup and everything, but like you don't know anything.
No, I guess you'd have to get Joe on. I don't even know if Joe knows anything.
Does he know anything? Yeah, so
Joe's dad knows a lot.
I mean, I think I'll talk about the World Cup. I'll do like a 5 minutes every episode once the World Cup starts, just to like give people my thoughts. But so like, are you going to follow Denmark?
I will actually. Funny you mentioned that. I'm going to. I was going to put on my score app as my favorite team in the tournament, Denmark.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, for the listeners to know, Josh's mom's from Denmark, so like he has feels like a connection, I guess, with that country.
I have a Denmark soccer jersey.
Yeah, what's the guy's name?
John Dahl Thomason.
Oh yeah, that's from like the 90s. Yeah,
he was their best player.
Yeah, so they have this guy Christian Eriksen right now. He plays for Tottenham in the Premier League.
You've mentioned him to me, yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He'll be their star, but I don't know like how far they could go.
They have a lot of trouble scoring.
Yeah, as you know, my team is England.
Yes.
So I don't have high expectations.
England, I don't understand. They should be in contention every time.
Yeah, they have like some decent players, but like the other countries just have kind of passed them by. Like Spain is so strong, Brazil, Argentina, Germany, France is super loaded also. So one of those teams is going to be the winner. I'd be shocked if one of those like 6 teams that I just mentioned didn't win. But I'm still doesn't mean I can't cheer for England. That's what I'll be doing. So like you said, I have already rearranged my schedule, although like...
What time are the games?
They're on mostly during the day.
Oh, well, I mean, you're home anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, but like one of them falls on the Quebec... one of them falls like on England's second game is like on a Sunday. So...
That works out.
Not much to rearrange there. Yeah. So I swore after they lost to Iceland in the Euro that I put away my my England jersey, and I haven't looked at it since. But now I'm gonna have to take it out of storage.
That was 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
2 years ago.
So speaking of soccer, Real Madrid won again.
I know.
Did you watch any of that?
Of course. Liverpool is my team. They lost.
Huh. And then the coach of Real Madrid quit after winning?
Yeah. Well, there's like, come on, we're really getting into soccer here. I can't believe it. I read a lot about it, and after the game, Ronaldo kind of gave like some comments making it sound like he wasn't going to be coming back next year. And then I read a little bit further, and there's a lot of rumors that the Real Madrid team is kind of broke. So they may just sell off all their guys. And I think the coach, Zidane, knows this, and that's why he's leaving.
I mean, they're like the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they've won the Champions League 3 years in a row, which is pretty crazy.
Better than the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah. And they're loaded. But, I mean, they have Ronaldo. So I guess that's like, well, I mean, he's the best player. So, you know. But they're super loaded besides that. You know, like their team is amazing. So.
What about, who's that other big star in that league?
Messi.
Yeah, him. And there's another one.
Suarez?
No, name some others.
Neymar? Well, Neymar was in that league, but plays in France now.
Okay.
And well, Messi is on the rival team of Ronaldo, which is Barcelona. So
okay.
Yeah, and Suarez is also on Barcelona.
So who did Liverpool have?
Liverpool has Mohamed Salah. He's an Egyptian guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was the best player in the world this year. He scored the most goals in the Premier League. He scored most goals in the Champions League tournament. He was the breakout star of the whole world. He actually got injured in the championship game against Madrid, so he only played the first 25 minutes. So that was a big reason why they lost. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the soccer minute.
Okay, that was more than a minute.
What else you got? I went through all my little tidbits.
I think I have a couple of others that may or may not be of any interest to anybody.
Okay, well, it doesn't matter. If it's of interest to you, then this is why it's on the show. That's all that matters. Okay. We don't care if it interests anybody.
So you know how I feel about power rankings, right?
I know, you hate them.
They don't really make much sense to me because you've got the standings to tell you who's better and who's worse.
Right.
But what I understand even less is they continue to do power rankings during the playoffs, but they eliminate the teams that are eliminated. They even do it just before the finals. They did the power rankings, and there's only 2 teams left.
But what happens? Imagine.
So why are they even doing it? Left. There's only 2 teams left. I don't get why they have to do the power rankings.
Is it to decide who's number 3 right now? Is it Winnipeg or is it Tampa? And how do they decide that?
I don't know. I didn't look. I didn't read it. I just saw there was some sort of headline, power rankings.
That is stupid.
And I'm like, you're still doing this in the playoffs, even with only 2 teams left? Anyway.
That's so great. That's so great.
So that's one thing I don't understand.
Yeah.
This is something I do understand. Has nothing to do with sports.
TV?
Oh.
As you know, I'm watching Entourage. I'm on season 4 now.
Oh, wow.
It's a great, great show.
Yeah, I know.
And you know what? It's great even today, but had I watched it back then, I would have thought it was even better.
Well, no, it's better back then because it's with the times, right? They don't have iPhones. It's not the same world, No,
I know, but I mean a lot of the stuff is shocking that to think that this actually goes on in Hollywood behind the scenes.
Right.
But some of the stuff that I'm watching now, I'm not as shocked as I would have been if I watched it 5 or 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Was it on 10 years ago?
Probably. Yeah.
So
probably.
Anyway, but the reason I mention it is, you probably liked, was it season 3 or the beginning of season 4? I'm not sure.
It's all a big blur to me. I can't tell you.
I know, but I'm going to tell you one name of one actress and you're going to melt.
Yeah.
He changed agents to Carla Gugino.
I know.
For a few episodes.
Yeah, for a few, yeah.
And I'm I used to like Skip
her.
Must have loved those episodes.
I loved her back in the 90s. Yeah.
So.
Well, what movie is he making now?
He just finished Medellin.
Oh, Medellin, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
And now they're trying to do that mountain climbing movie, but they don't know if it's going to happen.
I won't spoil anything for you. You can go, there's somewhere online, there's a fake IMDb of all his movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's really clever. Yeah, it's very clever. It tells you about all the movies he did and what they were about and who was in it and the co-stars and how they did the box office and the whole thing.
That's
really funny.
That's quite funny.
Well, you have to watch the movie at the end.
I will, for sure.
Because the movie, really, kind of puts an end to everything.
Ari is hilarious, by the way. The things he will do to get what he wants is unbelievable. He has zero scruples.
No.
It's unreal.
Well, he's probably the best character in the show, wouldn't you say?
He's hilarious. He is a
Him
very
and
good
Turtle.
character. And like Vince, you know, he's in the car with the others. They're stopped at a red light. The car next to them, there's the hot chick. And like he just starts chatting with her. And like 30 seconds later, he's in her car.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, does that actually happen?
No, but that's Vince. Like, I think the whole thing is just an exaggeration of everything that happens in Hollywood. Or maybe it is what happens in Hollywood, and that's what they want us to think.
Who knows?
Mark Wahlberg's like the executive producer of that show, right?
Right, you mentioned that.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
All right.
Hilarious show. It's the one show that when it comes on, like when I'm watching it, like literally I'm mesmerized. My eyes are glued to the screen.
I used to love just the music at the intro music when they're riding in the car and everything. I love that.
I don't look at my phone. If someone's talking to me, I don't respond. It's like I'm mesmerized by the show. It's unreal.
Well, you have to watch The Americans because I was really like...
And I laugh out loud. There's not many shows that I laugh out loud anymore. But
right.
But
well, there's no comedies anymore. You should watch Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I will.
The new ones.
I have to get around. I have to watch the old ones first.
I watched them all on a plane, like most of the new ones.
Mm-hmm.
Like there and back, like the return trip. They're so funny. I really love them. So
it's a big commitment because I want to go back to season 1 and watch them in order and you
right,
know, anyway.
Right. That's hard to do. Yeah. All right. What else you got?
And the other thing I wanted to mention was this is old news by now, but did you see the is a Hall of Fame or Wall of Fame plaque of Brandi Chastain?
Oh my God!
It didn't even look like a girl.
It's not her. I saw the picture and I thought this is a hoax. And then I read the article and I'm like, okay, was the sculptor like blind? Like, did he just make it up? Like, did he like sculpt off of a photo of the wrong person?
Because it looks nothing like her.
Not at all. Brandi Chastain is like a decently good looking woman and the sculpture looks like a man.
It looks like a man.
I totally forgot about this. It's a couple weeks old.
Yeah,
right?
It is old because I put this on my list and we didn't have time to get to it last episode.
It's really terrible that statue. I don't understand it at all. And she was very polite about it.
Well, of course,
she just like accepted it and she posed with it and she smiled and that was it,
if
right?
If it was me, I'd ask them to do another one.
They should do another one.
They should totally do another one.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that's it.
All right.
Show close.
So before we sign off, remember, you have to subscribe if you don't want to miss any of our episodes. And as you know, we're on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, and many other podcast apps. If you listen on Apple Podcasts, make sure to leave us a review. You can send us an email, skipandjoshshow@gmail.com, Twitter. We're on @skipandjosh, and of course, liking and following our Facebook page. And skipandjosh.com has all the links to how you can subscribe.
In 2 episodes, it's number 100, and I'm getting nervous.
Yeah, well, because you actually have to do a little bit of homework.
Oh, my God.
Are you going to do some homework in preparation of the 100?
Well, I read your notes.
Yeah, okay. So that's good enough.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you need to be able to talk about those notes. You have to come up with your own,
my own story.
Like, you need to be able to talk about what's in those notes.
I think I can do that.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
2 men could.
2 men could. We are 2 men.
All right. I'll talk to you next time. I'll be back home.
Okay. Enjoy the rest of your trip.
All right. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
We could build a cabin like that.
Well, maybe not us, but 2 men could.
The Skip and Josh podcast is over now. Don't worry, there'll be another episode soon.